Welcome to Southpaw Picks, and you're here with your host Charles, and we're going to be kicking off the first episode of 2022 with the first UFC card of 2022. That's UFC Fight Night, Kattar versus Giga Chikadze. Now, without further ado, let's get into these breakdowns. First fight of the night, and this is the official bout order off Tapology. So if the bout order does change at any point in time, you'll probably be updated on that in the post-weigh-in show. But starting with the first fight of the night, we got a strawweight bout between Vannesa Demopoulos versus Silvana Gomez Juárez. Now, both these fighters here lost their UFC debuts, obviously fighting different levels of competition. We had Vannesa going up 10 pounds to fight at flyweight against J.J. Aldrich on short notice. Not to mention, she was scheduled to come in and have another fight in her LFA bout. Now, we'll start with Vannesa here. Not too much going on as far as skill set. She's 33 years old, 5'2", with a 62-inch reach. She's fighting out of Fight Ready, and she's got a record of 6-4. Now, she's fought some notable fighters that are in the UFC. You got Sam Hughes, and you got Lupi Godinez, and even Corey McKenna. If you were watching the Contender Series, you could see that bout with Corey McKenna. She didn't even have enough strength to, out-grapple McKenna in certain positions, and McKenna was a 21-year-old versus an older woman with, more muscle definition, but, there's a difference between show muscles and go muscles, and Vannesa, despite, her physique, it does show in her fights that she could kind of get out-muscled in certain positions. Now, this fight here she has with Cynthia Arceo, and it was like a early finish. Kattar got her this second chance here after losing the fight in the Contender Series to Corey McKenna. Now, these two have a common opponent. And Silvana Juárez, she's an older fighter, 37 years old. She took her fight on short notice. She was scheduled to have a fight against Maria Silva on the Contender Series. Took the fight on short notice, but she was fighting in her own weight class. She was fighting Lupi Godinez, and that's the common opponent between the two of these girls. Lupi took Vannesa to a 5-round war, and Silvana got thoroughly dominated in the grappling. And because it was such a short fight, we really didn't get to see the combination striking like how we seen in her prior fights. She's coming off 3 victories in a row before that loss to Lupi. And, it's a UFC debut, but, a KO on a 4-6 opponent, KO on a 6-4 opponent. In a span of, 3 years there, she went on a hot streak. Now, she's 37. I don't see what the future may lie for her as far as this goes. And between the two of them, I don't think they're UFC caliber. So, based on the fact that I feel like the smaller cage is going to help Vannesa kind of clinch up and get her Silvana up against the cage, I do see a factor where maybe Vannesa doesn't have the strength that Lupi had when she was out-muscling Juárez in a lot of those positions. This fight's going to go to a decision, and I'm honestly going to have to side with Silvana here. She's got straighter shots. Vannesa leads going forward into exchanges, leads with her head, and I feel like the straighter shots are going to connect. This just smells like a split decision, and my choice would be Silvana Juárez with the win. Moving on to the next fight of the night, we got Brian Boom Kelleher versus Saidyokud Kakhramonov. Now, Brian Boom, veteran, as you can see his record there, 23-12. He's been in there with a lot of great guys. Most notably, Ricky Simone, Cody Stamann. These guys are all ranked guys. Montel Jackson, who, definitely has top 15 talent. John Lineker, and on and on. He's a scrappy dude, but 35 years old, 5'6", 64-inch reach, going up against a younger, fresher fighter here. And Saidyokud, he really impressed me, taking the fight on short notice. He missed weight, but it was one of those things. He was flying across the country trying to even get to the location to fight. And he showed out. Trevin Jones has power in his hands and is a physical grappler as well. And this is the same type of prototype he's going to be facing here in Bryan now. We've seen it before. Bryan's landed the big shot on some of these guys. He stopped. He stopped, where is it? Hunter Azure. I remember he was losing the first round, which, keep in mind, he was losing the first round. Caught him with a nice left hook. Takes that guy's, Ray Rodriguez. This is not a big win. Ray Rodriguez has been showing you guys that he's not cut out for the UFC at this level. And Domingo Pilarte too, just, not a guy that we're impressed with as far as the most recent wins. I think this is Sadyokub's time, and this is, to be honest, is probably one of my first plays on the card. Tapology 70% to 30%. I don't feel like it's that big of a landslide here, but without getting too crazy, I like the play here on Kakhramonov. He's faster, he's more electric. He's proven he can handle the grappling exchanges, his leg kicks, his boxing. How does Bryan beat him? He's not going to out-wrestle him. He's definitely not going to outstrike him with points. It's a lucky shot here, and I think it's going to take more than a lucky shot. The only loss most recently was a flying knee, and you know how those things are. Could take out any man. So I'm definitely going with Sadyokub, and I'm going to take him by second round stoppage, TKO. Moving on to the next fight on the card. We got Dakota Bush versus Viacheslav Borshchev. We call it Slava Claus, right? Alpha male striking coach. Recent win out the Contender Series against a pressure boxer, and Chris Duncan, who definitely showed some talent there with his combinations, but definitely didn't have anything for the counters. Slav was in there just moving, bouncing around, and countering. Dakota Bush, younger fighter here, 4-inch reach advantage. That's a big deal. Very high octane fighter. As you can see, these first round finishes here. Look at that, 3 out of his last 3 wins, and he's 3-2 in the last 2 years. All first round finishes, most notably. He's got a 3rd round finish here against Patrick Riviera, but if we check what Riviera's up to, not up to much. I think Dakota leads with his head a lot. His hands are down. His strikes are not refined. Will he have the grappling advantage here? It's hard to say. He's got some rear naked chokes against weaker competition, but we did see in that fight with Chris Duncan and Borshchev here that, he could be taken down. He could be controlled. I don't like that he's coming in here as a -180 favorite here. I think the line should be closer. But if I have to say who has the crisper strikes, it's Slava Claus here. It's Borshchev. He's got the crisper strikes. He keeps his hands up, too. He has a high guard. If you notice that fight with Chris Duncan, Chris Duncan's throwing a lot of looping shots, and Slava has the high guard, staying real mobile and countering off that. And Dakota fights with his hands down. The kicks, I feel like his kicks are very naked, and a guy like Borshchev should go in there and kind of school him, unless Dakota's going to come out here and show us levels of grappling that we have yet to see. I don't see how he does it. And the last fight there, it was on short notice, so we got to give him the benefit of the doubt there. He got tired, and we really have to consider, is that short notice fitness, or is that just a gas tank issue in general? Because he's a pretty big guy when you see him get in there. But my prediction for this fight, Borshchev, Borshchev 3rd round TKO. I think Dakota might win the 1st round if he's able to implement some grappling. Next fight on the card, we got TJ Brown versus Gabriel Benitez. Short and sweet. TJ Brown is an athlete. He's got power in his hands. He's got I would say, big power moves when he goes for these takedowns, and he muscles a lot of his technique. But, you know, he's pretty experienced for his age, 31. He's already been in here, 23 times. Benitez is 33. He's been in there 31 times. I definitely see Benitez fighting way stiffer competition. Like, look at these losses here. Sadiq Youssef, ranked. Omar Morales, not ranked, but very capable fighter. You know, in my opinion, if Omar Morales was fighting TJ Brown, I think I'd be all over Omar Morales in that spot. I think, you know, different levels here. Justin James, like I said, make quick work of a guy that powers a lot of things. And what's the difference between Justin James and TJ Brown? You know, the minor nuances here. And then Billy Cortello, which Billy Q, that pacing, you know, TJ Brown has never, ever in any of these fights proven to have a gas tank even close to Cortello's. You know, the Jordan Griffin submission loss. I mean, Jordan Griffin, you know, capable fighter, but, you know, he dropped the ball on a lot of fights, and this is a fight where TJ Brown was actually winning and gave it up. Danny Chavez just ate his leg alive in that fight and really slowed him down. And then this fight, you know, the split decision, I thought Kai Kamaka won. And was very surprised when the judges gave the decision to TJ Brown, but, you know, that's how it is sometimes. And this just lets you know, like, you know, TJ Brown's not a finisher. You know, he's gonna have to go in here and he's gonna have to beat Gabriel over a couple rounds. Now, you know, Gabriel's been showing some weird signs recently, missing weight, and him looking like he's had gas tank issues himself. And with a big, strong guy like this fight's going to be interesting as far as who's going to implement their style. Is TJ just going to go out there and out-muscle him and not have too much skill, but just have raw physical technique? Is Gabriel going to come in on weight? You know, he's been struggling to make the featherweight limit. Definitely, Benitez has more skills. But where is he? You know, what part of his career is he in right now? Man, I see this fight opening up. TJ Brown pressing forward. Mobley trying to land some kicks. They're going to instruct TJ Brown to just keep going forward. TJ Brown gets the takedown. Mobley probably scrambles. TJ Brown gets another takedown. Body kick. And, you know, it depends on that. How much body kicks is TJ Brown going to eat versus the ground control he's going to get here? It's a small cage, you know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the underdog shot here. I'm going to say TJ Brown by decision. Split decision again. Lose round 1. Win round 2, win round 3. Everybody's going to scream controversial. That's what I see. Controversial decision there. Excuse me. Next fight of the night, we got Ramiz Brahimaj versus Court McGee. Ramiz, you know, pretty young fighter here in the UFC, right? We've seen him on 2 accounts. Got his ear cracked open by Max Griffin. And then make short work of Sasha Platnikov, which, you know, it looks like everybody can get a submission on that guy, right? The grappling was nasty in that fight for Ramiz. Nasty. Got on top and did not let him go. He's 29 years old, and I think that's important because he's up against a 37-year-old Court McGee here. And, you know, you look at their metrics here, 5'11", 5'10", 73 inches reach, 75 and a half inch reach for Court McGee. I think Court McGee is going to be slightly bigger, but obviously the speed is going to be with Ramiz. But, you know, you do notice when you watch those Ramiz fights, the striking definitely isn't something to be afraid of, but neither is Court McGee. Court McGee's striking is something to be afraid of. This is going to be a battle of wills in there and a battle of grappling. Now, what kind of shape is Court McGee in? Is he in shape to grapple this young fellow for 15 minutes? You know, considering his grappling credentials. He held down Claudio Silva. That was an older man, though. I do think this is a spot where the young guy, Ramiz, is going to just continue to get better. And this is going to be a clash. I think he's going to get the takedown on Court. Court probably battle out of a couple positions. But then I think the 37-year-old here, Court McGee, is going to eventually just slow down to the younger fighter here. Eventually going to slow down. And I see Ramiz Brahimaj finishing Court McGee with a rear naked choke over a course of just grappling exchanges. Ramiz just has to not end up on bottom. We haven't seen him on bottom, right? We've only seen him in top, positions and advantageous positions. But I feel like he can get the fight there more than Court McGee can get him there. So, not going to make this play myself, but I do like this spot here. Slight underdog, Ramiz Brahimaj. I do believe he's just going to get better and better. And, Court McGee coming off a win to Claudio Silva, who's just, not looking too good, and losses to Carlos Condon, and, Sean Brady's a decent win. Decent loss here for him. No shame in that, and that was a close fight. And, but you see overall that the younger fighter is just eventually going to gas out the older man, It's just eventuality, if that makes any sense. But yeah, Ramiz Brahimaj, and by submission. We got Jamie Pickett here versus Joseph Holmes coming out the Contender Series. Taking this fight on short notice here. The Night Wolf versus the Ugly Man. Their metrics are pretty close. It says Holmes will have a 2-inch height advantage, but like I said, we need to see the post weigh-in show to really evaluate, match up with the numbers that are available here versus what we visually see, muscle definition, all that stuff is important, fitness level. So like I said, we got Jamie Pickett here. Not the most impressive fighter, but I said looking into this fight that this win here for Joseph Holmes here on the Contender Series against that Shante Barnes guy. That Shante Barnes guy had no gas after the round 1. He was done. He was done. So that's no resistance here, and that would have been his what? Right there, he'd been like 5-1, right? It's 3-2, 0-1, good fighter. Showed he has some skills in that fight. But Shante Barnes, no. That's not a good enough competition. And then he beats Jonathan Patti, right? Which, let's swing you over here. Same result, right? He finishes Jonathan Patti earlier in his career before he even had a 500 record. And I got to look at the experience of Jamie Pickett. He went in there, he lost a fight to Tafon Njuki, which is a different style fighter, pressure fighter, was showing off a lot of skills in that fight. And he had a heavy hands. Jamie Pickett did not want to be a part of that, stayed on the outside. Then the Jordan Wright situation, Jordan Wright's crazy, flies right out of the cannon. It's you or him in that moment. It was Jamie Pickett, not even close to the style of Joseph Holmes. And then he picks up a win against Laureano Staropoli, welterweight, smaller guy, but, relatively decent in skill. And I felt like he used his reach and kept him at bay. Now, neither of these guys, to me, look like a guy that's used to fighting someone that's built like them. Jamie Pickett likes to use his jab, stick on the outside, right? Joseph Holmes, in the short time being, he fought guys that are smaller than him, so he had to use the exact same technique. So there's actually nothing I see here that's going to say, oh, you know what, maybe Jamie's going to be able to get on the inside, or Joseph Holmes is going to get on the inside. But if I do have one thing in the back of my mind that I do see happening here in this fight is that Jamie Pickett, being the veteran he is, him not rushing forward versus Joseph Holmes' debut here, probably feels like he's got to get engaged. I feel like Joseph Holmes is going to be coming forward, and because we have yet to see combination punching, it's very likely I think he walks into something. I see Jamie Pickett just getting the better of the exchanges over the course of 15 minutes. And if I have to, make my pick, I wouldn't want to bet on this fight personally. I'd go with the underdog. I'd go with the older guy, more experience at this time, even though it's a 12-6 record. He's been in there, He's felt it. And I feel like that's going to carry him a long way. Joseph Holmes, is talented as he's looked against the smaller competition, this is a prove it for me. If he goes out there and he shows off against Jamie Pickett, or if I see the weigh-ins and, you know, maybe as far as, you know, fitness level, Joseph Holmes doesn't look up to Jamie Pickett's fitness level, or vice versa, maybe it'll sway me then. But as of right now, no. I think Jamie Pickett wins by decision. You know, securing maybe round 1 and round 3. And I think that'll be a unanimous decision with a dog right there. Yeah, got that. We got 2 back-to-back dogs. Says this on the main card. But looking forward to this fight here. Joanderson Brito versus Bill Algeo. Now, you know, I make a lot of plays on Contender Series a lot. And Joanderson was somebody that I really liked. Probably one of my favorite plays of the year. Aggressive. I was only worried about maybe the gas tank. And to me, that fight there showed me a lot. Bill Algeo, you know, he likes to skirt on the outside, a lot of movement, quick jab, quick hands, good gas tank. But in my opinion, I think the guy Joanderson fought in the Contender Series, this guy here, Diego Lopez, I think he's a better fighter than Algeo. And I don't know, maybe if he just wasn't at his peak performance that night or how it may have worked out for him, but I think that Diego Lopez kid is a much better fighter than Bill Algeo here. And, you know, yeah, 6 foot reach advantage. I mean, 6 foot height advantage, but only a 1.5 reach advantage. Like, that's important, especially when Joe Anderson is swinging bombs. Now, quick little look here at Diego Lopez, a little side bar. Okay, let me just run over there quick. Shout out to Topology, the best in the game. Let's see this guy, 72-inch, 5'11", right? So, same metrics. You know, he actually fought a similar fight here. I think Joanderson's going to take Algeo down. He's going to beat him up. He's going to brutalize him. I can't wait to see this fight go down. I am very, very high on Joanderson here. He's a slight favorite, -125. The book I'm using, he's -135, unless it's kind of been, unless there's been some pushback here. And come on, man. I think Joanderson's the real deal. I think he's going to show you guys he's the real deal. And I think he finishes Bill Algeo violently. Ground and pound. That's what I think. I think he's going to, you know, weak side, grab him in a half guard, and just batter his face down. And get the win. Sorry, Bill Algeo. Joanderson Burrito by TKO. And here we go again as they have the heavyweight fight high up the main card. Chase Sherman versus Jake Collier. The vanilla gorilla versus the prototype. Let's look at these metrics here. 6'5", 6'3", 68-inch reach, 68.5-inch reach now. From Cuban, Missouri, like the boy Dakota. You already know how Chase Sherman is. He's a brawler, right? Bare knuckle boxer. Got caught on the juice. Hasn't looked good since he's been off the juice. Fought at Sanford and came out and lost to Parker Porter. Not a guy who thinks Parker Porter is that phenomenal. You know, look at some of these losses here. Devin Clark, Marcel Fortuna. Like, Jay Collier's fighting guys, man. School John Volante. He's fighting guys. He maybe could have been considered to beat Felipe in there. That was a close fight. I know some people had him as a dog. Yeah, you know, the only question I have here is just how much of a heavyweight is Chase Sherman versus, you know, Jay Collier, right? Because Jay Collier is coming up from smaller weight class, right? He's just kind of a big man. You know, he's putting on a lot of weight. He's a fat guy now, right? Chase Sherman, on the other hand, I mean, kind of just a big guy, right? I mean, not a fat guy. Real heavyweight. Jay Collier's got more skills. Way more skills, I'll be honest. But how much of this is really going to be a cause of just a big guy is out of shape, fighting Sherman, who's just a heavyweight, who's just a brawler. It's a small cage. They're going to be engaged. I think everybody might be just sleeping on Sherman just a little bit, right? He's trying to make a change going to Sanford MMA here. This is a fight where, yeah, 2 in a row, Parker Porter, and Arlovsky, right? We're doubting him right now. We're doubting him coming off 3 straight. But I think he showed you in that fight with Ike what he could do to the smaller man overall, a middleweight, fighting a heavyweight, right? I might shock you guys with this pick. I think I'm going to go with Sherman. Wow. 73% is picking Sherman. Interesting. I thought a lot more people would be leaning Jake Collier, to be honest. I thought a lot more people would be taking Jake. And kind of shocked, to be honest. You know what? I'm going with Chase Sherman here. The natural heavyweight. The natural strong heavyweight. Jake Collier went up against a natural heavyweight, got knocked out. Went up against a natural heavyweight, had a split decision. And even Felipe, just a heavy fat guy. You know, Gian Vellante, fat guy, was able to pick him apart. But, you know, Chris Barnett sent that guy to the moon. Chase Sherman, I'm going to be riding with you. Not play. I might not put a play with you, but that's my prediction. Chase Sherman, I don't think he'll knock out Collier, but I think he'll win a decision. Let's move on to the next fight here. Brandon Royval versus, or Brandon Raw Dog Royval versus Rogério Bontorin. And let's be real. Is Bontorin making weight? Is this fight really going to happen? Is Brandon Royval going to take the fight despite the weight miss? Now, if there's a weight miss here, as much as I'm a huge fan of Brandon Royval, I might have to take Rogério Bontorin if there's a weight miss. If it's like a blatant 128, and then Royval still takes it because, you know, he's a fighter, I'll go take Rogério. If Rogério makes the weight, everything's fair game. Brandon Royval is so chaotic. It's a smaller cage, which, you know, not the best for his style, especially against a guy that's just going to be coming forward. But, you know, Brandon Royval's got the consistent scrambling when he's, you know, grappling on the mat. It's going to tire Rogério Bontorin. Quick striking, kicks, you know, flying knees. He's got it all in his arsenal. That's going to cause, you know, Rogério's sensors to go crazy when he's fighting him. 4-inch reach advantage, 3-inch height advantage. You'd hope that Royval had just a little bit more than 3 inches of reach. They're both the same age. This is an interesting fight here. You know, 2 fights now we've seen with Brandon Royval. As much as he scrambles, Alexander Pantoja and Brandon Moreno out-muscled him. They were stronger than him, you know. On the mat, they were really, really showing their strength. And Rogério's got strength. So I'm worried that if he does get a decent hold of Brandon Royval early, that he could submit him. I think the best thing for us to do here is I think anybody would lean Royval maybe in the instance that this fight stretches out a bit longer. Or they take it for what it is. And we look at it like, you know what, Rogério's just going to have the physicality advantage. It's a small cage. Royval may not have enough room to do a lot of the stuff he wants to do. What if his shots aren't hurting Rogério? Like, what if those jabs aren't causing him to step back and he just keeps fighting through it and gets a hold of Royval? Best play, I think, is fight doesn't go the distance here, but as much as I like Royval, I'm going to take the dog shot here on Rogério if he misses weight. If not, I'll take the fact that Rogério's gas tank won't last and Brandon Royval can keep the pace on and break him. Moving on to the co-main event here, we got Katlyn Chookagian versus Jennifer Maia 2. First fight was also interesting in the bigger octagon. Maia was chasing Katlyn and couldn't get on the inside. That's a 4-inch reach advantage. Katlyn knows how to fight from distance. Katlyn's also a decent grappler. I don't think Maia's going to come out here and out-grapple her and shock her beyond belief. Maia got Valentina on a, you know, a badly done takedown. Valentina just made a mistake. Jennifer Maia got on top, and all she did was hold her. Didn't really pop up and do damage. She just held her, you know. But for a moment there, we got to see Valentina held down a little bit. Yeah, I think this fight's going to go the same way. I really do. Jennifer Maia just got Eye out of there, you know, big deal. She got Joanne Wood out of there, big deal. You know, Roxanne, you know, look who Valentina Anthony destroyed her, right? Jessica Andrade, KO to the body. Thought that fight may end up different. Cynthia Calvillo. You know, it's funny too. If you look at these recent wins, her best win is Viviana Araujo. Most recently, anyway. Obviously, Katlyn's fought everybody out there, but I still think Katlyn's the creme de la creme out here. You know, she's coming in here motivated, and Jennifer Maia is not, you know, more motivated to get this loss back. I think she should piece her up. The cage is a lot smaller. Maybe Maia has a better chance of getting to her and clinching up with her, but I just feel like Maia's not going to land enough shots, you know. She's going to be short on a lot of these punches, and Katlyn's going to kia her and jab her to death. Katlyn Chookagian by decision. I think she might cruise to it. Now we're going on to the main event of the evening. We got Calvin Kattar versus Giga Chikadze. Boy, Giga's on a run. He's on a run here. Finished Cub Swanson. Finished Edison Barbosa. And Calvin Kattar coming off, you know, beating Dan Ige. Knocking out Jeremy Stevens. Knocking out Ricardo Lamos. I definitely think Giga's been in there with more of the younger, well, got wins over the younger, fresher fighters here. And I'm going to give the nod here to Giga without going too crazy. I think Kattar took a lot of abuse in this fight with Max. I think he's going to try and be desperate to show everybody how good he is. It's been a lot of time off, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt to say, hey, he's gotten better, changed things up, but I just believe Giga is one of those guys that are going to contend for a belt. And I believe that no one's going to stop him unless you're top 2 or top 1 in the world. I expect Giga to go out there and take care of business here at Kattar. Even though they're in the smaller cage, which, like I said, this is a big deal. And maybe Kattar will be able to pressure him and get to him closer. I just feel like Giga's going to land those body shots. Same shots with the leg kicks, right? The same shots that were available to anybody like Zabit and Max. This is the same type of fighter, a kickboxer. And I feel like they're just going to have their way with the openings that, you know, Kattar leads, because he's just more of a boxer. He's traditional boxing stance. As good as he is with the hands and as dangerous as he is, this isn't going to be a landslide. I do think the price on Giga Chikadze is a little too high, but he's the rightful guy. I think he is the guy. And I think Kattar is just a notch below his level. And I think it's going to show. I think Giga's going to put Kattar out. Body kick TKO. Get him hurt and get his hands down. Finish him off with some right hands and TKO him. I don't know who's going to be reffing it, but whoever they are, they're definitely going to stop it. I'm not going to let Calvin Kattar take too much more abuse, especially after what he went through. And there you have it, Giga Chikadze. Now, we're going to get to our personal plays of the night. Definitely going with Saidyokud Kakhramonov. Probably going to parlay him up with Giga Chikadze. That should be plus 127 when I was looking at it. That's worth like a 2-unit stab there. Get back, I think, 2.2 units back, so that's a good flip. And some other names that I'm going to have in single shots on Joanderson. Not that much confidence in him to, you know, it's a debut, to bet him, put him in a parlay, but I'm going to take a straight shot on Joanderson at that even money. And also, too, I think people are doubting Chase Sherman here in this spot. But I ain't going to touch it. Yeah, I'm going to be going with Joanderson. I'm going to be going Ramiz, Brahimaj, straight shots on those, half unit plays. And then I'm probably without the, you know what? I'm saying this right now, obviously I got to wait to weigh-ins to confirm a lot of these things, but the Kakhramonov, Giga Chikadze, and the Joanderson Brito parlay should be at least 3-1, and that should be a great start to the year before we get into the title fight next week. So hope you enjoyed our first episode here at Southpaw Picks. There will be a post-weigh-in show probably Friday night. Most likely you'll get the post-weigh-in show, and that'll be where I finalize all these bets and all these predictions and give you guys the full breakdown. So thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and get ready for fights. They're back. It's been a while. Get a 12-fight card, 4 p.m. Eastern. It's a great time for me. And yeah, so without further ado, take it easy, and don't forget Southpaw Picks.